Okay, you guys, what is going on? Captain Cody Davis back here again for another video. Just got done putting Lakin down to sleep, so he is out like a light. Breezy is out with her girlfriends watching a concert. So I have nothing else to do but sit in a quiet house, enjoy an ice cold bluegill, and sit here and talk to you guys about fishing. I'm going to film this portion of the video. I'm going to sit on the couch and finish editing the video and post it out there to you guys. And while it's uploading, I'm just going to put my feet up and watch some hunting and fishing videos. So I am a happy man. And I'm very excited to do this portion of this video because this is going to be the walkthrough, the breakdown, the tournament footage from the two-day Roland Martin Marine Series Championship tournament, where me and my partner Kelly were fortunate enough to take home a second place finish against some of the best teams in the state of Florida, and without a doubt, the best anglers on Lake Okeechobee. So couldn't be happier. It's a great finish. We did not win the event. I do apologize to the winners who took home the victory. I don't remember your names. One of them used to fish, I know, with a buddy of mine, my buddy Jesse Mizell, but either way, they deserved it. Great anglers, great guys, super, awesome for them. They almost cracked the dirty 30 mark on Championship Sunday. So well deserved and, awesome finish for you guys. Super happy for you. And yeah, like I said, we're super, super pleased and happy with second place. So, I'm going to kind of break this down. I'm going to kind of walk through everything that happened and how the tournament transpired for us and how our decisions were made and why we did what we did. Really, one, because I'm sure you guys want to hear it. I'm going to get questions on how it all went, but also it just helps me mentally. We're almost a week post-tournament here, and I really haven't got to just tell the full story or just talk to myself even about how everything went. So this is kind of a good thing for me to kind of make mental notes and things like that. So I guess we'll jump right into it. So for those of you that did not watch me and Breezy's last podcast or my video prior to that, which was the practice video leading up to this event, I kind of told you guys that, full disclosure, we did not fish anywhere. My boat never touched the same water that it did in the tournament video. And the reason for that was I went out, practiced a full day, and I intended on practicing a couple of more days for this event, and it just really never worked out. But what did happen was I had a shiner trip for someone that Breezy works for, and he had told me that he did not want to be on a schedule. He's like, man, I'll call you when I'm leaving my hotel. He was staying about an hour away from the ramp. So he said, when I call you, it might be 8 o'clock, it might be 9 o'clock, somewhere right in there. It just gives you enough time to just head over to the ramp and, we'll meet there because I did not live far. Lakin had us up early. I just went ahead, woke up, drank some coffee, went to the ramp, put the boat in the water, bought some shiners for him. And it is dumping outside right now. And I was, ready to go. So he ended up calling me after I had rigged all the rods and everything and said, he's getting ready to leave now. So I knew I had about an hour to play with. So as opposed to just sitting there and waiting, I just went for a boat ride. I knew, and it wasn't really as much to go catch fish as it was just, I don't know, just to kind of waste some time, because going into that day, I already knew where fish were. I knew where I was going to go throw these shiners. I knew what a lot of the fish were doing, right? I knew there was a lot of fish spawning. I knew that where I could go and catch fish. I had been catching fish on my artificial trips the 2 days prior, and the day before that even, was when I filmed that practice video. So I had a pretty good, I felt pretty dialed in on what was going on in the area. So it wasn't really for that. I only had an hour, so I wasn't looking to go light the world on fire. I just wanted to go fish somewhere different and just check out some new stuff with the high water. So I end up in this lane that I hadn't fished. Well, I haven't fished it since I started guiding out here. It had been a while. And there were some really nice looking pennywort mats there. So I pulled out my mat rod, put my headphones in, and just started flipping these mats. Now, there was a mat line, and out in front of the mat line, about 5 or 6 feet, there were little individual isolated pad clumps, which I thought the fish might take to spawn. I thought maybe they would even, be pre-spawn and staging in the mats and then poke out and stay and actually bed on these pad clumps. So I'd flip the mats until I got to the pad clumps. and then I would, flip my lighter rig over there. And I probably went and fished this stretch for a couple hundred yards without any bites. And I looked over to the other side of this trail, and it was a different type of line than a lot of these fish are accustomed to seeing out here on Lake Okeechobee. And I literally said to myself out loud, if they were looking to spawn, that over there looks way better. That's ideal for spawning as opposed to what I'm fishing right now. So I just went ahead and as I'm trolling over to that side, I remember thinking back to when I was 8 years old, fishing in this area and fishing next to Denny Brower. And he was fishing on this other side of this cut. So I kind of thought to myself, well, Denny was fishing this side, so this might be the better side. And my first flip over there, I catch a 4-pounder. And everyone that fishes knows how that works, right? Typically, when you catch one right off the bat, that's like just a freak deal, and that's the last time that's going to happen. So I catch this 4-pounder, I pull her in the boat, white belly, just fat as mud. I look around, there's no boats around me. I slide her back in the water. And, I think, oh, that's cool. I reach in my box, I get a new plastic. I flip up there, nothing. Next flip, I catch a 3.5. White lake fish. I think, oh, man, that's pretty neat. Let the fish go, no boats around. Next flip, I catch another 4-pounder. And right then, it really that was when something clicked in my head. Like, okay, this isn't random anymore. I put the trolling motor on 100 and I trolled about 100 yards up, away, and I made 3 flips and I caught another 4-pounder, followed by another 3.5, followed by several more threes. And it really dawned on me very quick, like, I think I just found something. Not necessarily a winning spot, but I found a hell of a starting spot. So I ended up just getting out of there. Didn't really want anyone to see me, and going back to the boat ramp and waiting on my customer. I think I called Kelly. I think I called Breezy. He was like, "You'll never guess where I caught some fish," and really left that alone. I never went back to it for a couple of days. All my trips I was running until then were on the other end of the lake, so I never had a reason to go in there. And I was telling Kelly about how strong I felt about it, and I could tell on the phone he was kind of iffy. And a morning came, I guess it was a week prior to the tournament, where he said he had a couple hours before he had to go into work, and I had some things I had to take care of with Breezy in town, and we had a couple of hours. So I said, why don't you meet me at the ramp? I'll run over there and show it to you, and maybe you'll get some more confidence in this plan. And he said, all right, that sounds good. So I picked him up. We ran to this spot, and he literally was like, kind of like, I can't believe we're even in here. And his first flip, he catches a 4-pounder. Literally, I mean, stands up, flips in there, and he catches a 4-pounder. Three and 3/4 maybe. And I end up sticking a 4, and he says, I believe you. Let's get the hell out of here. And we left that spot alone. So he did some practicing. I did some practicing around the lake. We knew we had a good starting spot, and ended up that was kind of the best thing we found. Other places that I found that had some fish, I thought might be crowded. I knew around where I was there would be crowded, but our whole thing was, if we could go to this spot and flip up 14 pounds, we're going to fish better. Even if we have to get out in the crowd, we're going to fish better than a lot of people out there that maybe only have 1 or 2 fish in the live well. At least that's how we felt. And there are 4-pounders. A lot of them were females. There were a ton of males in there spawning. We just needed these big females to move up in there to get on the bed as well. Not maybe in that particular spot, but out and around this area. We had some other fish, like you guys kind of saw me doing on the practice video, throwing a chatterbait, maybe throwing a spook, doing some flipping out there, things along those lines. So going into the tournament, we said we're going to start in this cut. We're going to try and flip up 14 pounds, and then we're going to go searching for big ones and just play around, flip some mats, and just try. All we need to do is really just try and bank on a big bite or 2 a day. If we have 14 pounds, and we'll be at 20 pounds, and I think 20 pounds a day is going to do pretty good. The lake was not fishing wide open because a lot of the lake was beat up from high winds and stuff. There was only a few areas that were really producing fish. So we felt good about it. We felt good about having a good check or if having a good finish. But really, honestly, didn't think that this could. We knew it could happen. We definitely that's why we chose to stick it out and with this game plan, because we knew the way the lake was setting up, and that the big females were moving around and thinking about doing their thing, and some were doing their thing. That we just not really had to get lucky, but our baits just had to hit them in the face, and we could get some bigger bites. So uh, day one of the tournament, we were boat number 13, and we took off, and like we thought, there was no one in our starting spot. There were boats around it, but not in it. So we lay down in there, and I put a limit in the boat and probably like literally 12 flips or something. I mean, it was just boom, 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 boom. And they weren't giants. I think one of them was an okay one. And then we kind of started trading blows, catching fish, made one pass. And then I ended up catching a 4.5, 5 pounder, which I believe gave us like 14 or 15 pounds. And we said, once we hit 14 pounds, we're going to leave this area because we wanted to save it for the next day. So we did that. I flipped in there, and as soon as she hit it, so what was happening was I think some of the fish were on the bed, some of them weren't, and basically what we were doing was just flipping a mixture of just beaver style baits, a D-bomb, an ugly otter, a reaction beaver. You guys know I have them all in the same bag, and really just flipping the bait out there up to where we thought these fish were spawning and just dead sticking it, counting to 5. And they would just pick it up and move off with it. And like I said in the video with Breezy, we were spraying it down with a scent. And I don't know if it helped, but it made me feel better. And I'll tell you this, every fish we caught was hooked would never come off in 100 years. And my whole thing with that is, when you're blind flipping beds, when that bait lands on the bed, I feel like those fish get on it and nose up to it. Might not eat it, but maybe if that scent just causes them to just inhale it more and really hold on to it. So we went in there. I caught that big one, and like I said, we knew we were at our weight, a little bit over what we wanted to have. So we just started to we went in there, did our thing. We were leaving it for the next day.
Drop them in there. Was it caught on it? In there. That's all we needed. One bite. We'll pull this down real quick. Actually, no. A little bigger than that. We'll take it. Trust me, if no one's right here, no one's fishing. Doinked it. Got him? He was up in there. Bro, he was right on the edge. But I'm just, dude, when I'm catching them, it's just letting it lay there and not moving it. Oh, okay. Number 5. Some good looking shit. It's all the right looking stuff. They may
might be coming in from the lake, not this end, and right, maybe this far up, and this might be thin.
Right at the top.
They'll close.
What?
I think they'll close for sure.
Yeah. Not as big as I thought, but no problem.
Huh?
It's not as big as I thought, but probably cool. If you want, you could turn the speed down if we're going too quick for you. Whatever you think. Look how white, though. Look at that. Man, the fish just got in here.
They were in the main can.
What?
Them two fish right there were in the main can. That's what I'm saying.
Damn it. You're good. That's what was in here. Right in that little chute, that little pocket right there, in that main can. All right, that's where we want it to be. That's a stud, dude. Look how fast she is. Woo!
So after we did that, we're trying to troll out of there pretty quick, get out, just so that no one really sees us. And we were coming out, and we kind of looked at each other like, okay, now what's exactly the game plan now? So a dark colored chatterbait, like a jackhammer like this one here, that bruise green pumpkin color, we knew was getting a lot of big bites for us in practice, as it did this time last year. We know you can cover a lot of water with it. And we were fishing this bait a lot different than a lot of people typically fish a chatterbait. We really try to work this thing like a freaking worm. Try to get it stuck. Try to just find any kind of debris or remnants of reeds or anything on the bottom with it that these fish are spawning on that are invisible to the naked eye due to the high water. So almost just dragging it on the bottom, very little vibration coming off of this blade, but whatever it is, we know we can cover water. We're catching a lot of fish on it, and we're getting those big 5 and 6 pound bites. So we literally come out, we're literally in the process of really trying to figure out exactly which direction we want to go. And fire the bait out there, kind of along a hard line. And I literally say, I wouldn't mind just a random 4 pounder on this chatterbait. And as I say that, the bait bogs. It gets hung on what's left of a reed or something, and it kind of rips off, and I just feel it go, ding, and it just slack line, and I'm on.
See that big clump in front of us with the pads and the cattails in it?
Chatterbait?
No, he caught one flipping.
That's
No,
all.
just a 3/4. Wouldn't mind a random 4 pounder on the chatterbait though.
Right? Nice.
Yeah.
That net's too small.
Oh, Kelly!
Yes! That net's too small, bro. We bring them around that tomorrow. Don't let the guys see it in the corner. There's the guys in the cut. Watch it.
Let's go, baby.
So I bring the fish in, right? It's a 6 pounder or something, whatever it was, and we're just like, that's what we needed. I mean, we literally almost are at, we had like 19 pounds at that point, right? So like, or I don't know, maybe not that much. I don't remember what exactly it was, but we had a good bag of fish already. You know, we were already sitting in the top 15 we were going to be for the day, we figured, with what our estimates of what the weights would be were. So we have that fish. We know we're fishing good. We really pull down. We work that area. Don't really get any more bites. And, you know, now we had like a schedule we wanted to be on with how much weight we were going to have. And we're ahead of schedule. So we kind of saw these mats that were fixated in a certain spot and were set up just right for what we really thought we needed to see. And there was a little, literally 40, 50-yard strip of these mats. And we kind of agreed, let's go in there, let's flip that strip real quick. We'll come back out and we'll kind of head north, from there. And we go in there. Kelly's like fifth flip. He flips in. The whole mat lifts. And, we both look at it like, holy crap. He kind of does his soft lift. And the fish was on there the whole time, but you'll see in the clip, the rod's loaded, but there's no movement at all. And, we're both watching, and finally the fish does a little subtle move, and it was actually the fish that had the bait. Kelly sets the hook, and a 5-pounder just pops out of the water. She had to have had the bait, and just opens her mouth in the air, and the bait just comes out, and she swims away. So, looked to be a 5-pounder. Now, I don't know, but it ended up coming off.
Come on. Can't believe he come off. I thought you had him.
So we're really surprised how did this come off, but you know what? You got to shake it off, right? That's the first fish we've lost. Shake it off, get back in there. So I pick up my mat rod, boom, boom, boom. It's kind of the same thing. I flip a bait into the edge of this mat, milk the bait, don't get bit. As I'm reeling it out, the fish comes through the mat, out of the mat, looks at me, right, and misses the bait and goes back in the water. Happened real quick. So I'm there trying to get my bait to sink back down through the mat, trying to get it through. The bait falls through the mat, and my line jumps, and
Not far. Just kind of like you are. I can't believe he come off. You do it right there. Yes.
I don't feel so bad. We just saved that other fish.
I live for this sport, and things were going so right, so fast that I was just, I don't know. I was over the moon excited. I get excited. Even you guys know when I'm on guide trips with you and you guys catch them. I don't care. I just love seeing big fish come in the boat. So it was like a pick me up. Like, okay, we got bit. We lost one, but it's okay. We recovered.
I got to see it, and I had a clear shot.
Can't see him. You're right about the two hands.
You see what I'm talking about?
Well, you called. You were calling, dude. You said we're fixing to get a bite. You were right. I said we needed a big one.
Redemption.
We just gotta start asking for shit.
We thought she got away. She just had to wait a little bit.
From it, and I think we were sitting at 21 and a half pounds at that point. We come out of there, and we kind of make a little move. Kelly fires a chatterbait at a hard line, never cranks the bait, and just feels like he's hung on another chunk of dead cattail. Before we know it, we realize, oh no, that's a fish, and it jumps, and it's a 4.5, 5-pounder, and throws the chatterbait. Damn it.
Hook into it.
He was running at you?
Yeah, I never laid the hook into it. I thought I hit it. I think so.
So that was obviously a kick in the gut. That one really hurt us, and that was at probably 10:30 in the morning, and we never got another bite the rest of the day. We caught a few, right? We caught a small, short, couple fish that did not help us from there, one or two, but never really dialed anything in. And we were doing at 3 o'clock. So we went in and we weighed in, like I said, like 21 and a half pounds. My scale said we had more, but I think my scale was just off. We thought we had like 23. But looking back now, I don't believe we did. And that's not a knock on Roland's scale or anything. I'm 100% sure my scale was just off. But either way, we had, I think, 21.35, and we were sitting in 7th place going into the final day. So we were what I consider lucky number 13, and then we were in 7th place. So we had we had kind of a good thing going. So the next day, we were not due in until 5 o'clock check-in. So we were going to have literally like a full day to fish. And me and Kelly, Kelly called me that night and said, listen, we need to think about what we're going to do because we did not get bit from 10:30 to 3 o'clock. Now we got to be out there from 10:30 to 5 o'clock. That's a lot of wasted time if we can't figure something out. So we kind of made some adjustments in our head. Next morning we take off. We're like the last boat. Some people saw us in our starting spot. We were hoping no one would jump our stuff and try to beat us in there. And thankfully for us, they didn't. So we said, the day before we had laid down in this cut and flipped it. Kelly's like, we should lay down on the outside where you caught that big one on our way out, and we should chatterbait our way in. And we did that. And I ended up jumping off what turned out to be, I think, was going to be a pretty decent fish.
Something blew up. I remember that
There ain't that many people out there. Oh, we're everyone must be in There goes Ben. You don't lay down right there. That's Richie right there. I don't know why I saw him there, and I said, that makes sense. See, that's the same shit. If he caught that 24 pounds right. But how he said we need to flip over there by the ditch because they're coming out of it. Big one.
Don't let him jump. You ready?
Call. He wasn't big enough. So we lose that fish, right? I shook it off. It's the first bite of the day. You can't let that spark. It's all mental, right? So I'm trying to say mentally strong, not let it get to me. What you guys aren't going to see in the video is my next 6 bites I missed. So I missed 7 fish, all right? Really kind of messed me up. And, but I was just putting it off. Like, stop, settle down. You literally have like 9 hours to fix this. So I think I like sat down. I think I retied something, just like took a deep breath. I think Kelly was like, hey, don't, it is what it is, man. We got 8 hours to do this. I mean, just don't let that get to you. And like next thing, I put a new bait on, stand up, flip right to where I had caught a big one in practice. I recognized this little point. I flip to it and I get doinked and set the hook. And this fish, I mean, took me for a ride for a second. So we catch this fish. It's like a 4.5 pounder. She was wrapped in some cane. I don't know how she didn't come off. She was hooked good, but I just knew she was going to come off. And if she did, Kelly would have probably had to take me to therapy, but thankfully she didn't. So I think you hear Kelly say it in the video, we got one. Because that was a fish, we knew we were going to weigh in that day. So we only needed 4 more. I think he says 4 more. So we go down, and then we start doing pretty good, I think. You'd have to watch the footage, but I believe like we go down it, we catch a couple of fish.
Bleeding? Just choked it, huh? There you go.
Two.
All right.
Got a net.
Not a bad one.
And because we had so much time, Kelly said we should come back down and flip these mats on the other side, like you did in practice. But it's been 2 weeks. See if anything's set up under there. We come down, we flip the mats, we don't get bit. We end up fishing our way, either cranked up and ran back up to come back down with the wind, or fished our way back through it and re-flipped it. I remember Gerald Swindle telling a story from the elites where he had a starting spot that was so small, but he got a limit there 3 of the 4 days in a row. And the final day, he's like, there can't be any more fish in this creek. It's so small. And he ended up spending almost the entire final day in there. And he said he caught more fish then out of that creek on the final day than he caught all of practice and all of the whole tournament running around the lake. And what he was saying was, you guys might think you're good, but you're not that good. You cannot catch all the fish in a spot. And I remember telling Kelly that, and I said, let's just go through and act like we haven't fished it, and literally every time we made a pass, we got more bites than the last time. And I believe we flipped, and Kelly went on a little roll there where he caught 2 or 3, like back to back to back. You said Kelly just throws that thing out there and don't move it? That's what I'm talking about, dude. Pull up. Got a worm way the hell out there. See? I told you we can't catch them all.
Yeah, it's confusing. 3-2.
We'll see.
We'll call it 3-2. Twisting? It's almost like a mudfish, you see?
Yep. I told you we gotta come back and fish behind us, man. We ain't that good.
Go back down. We suck.
We suck.
We found out that we suck.
Elk Hole. Look, we got residents mixed with lake fish. That's a resident, the one you just called a lake fish. Money, dude.
You know, and those were good fish. Those were good fish to us. We needed them, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna throw something different. I think I'm gonna try throwing a Senko because we felt like there was some rock on the bottom. I threw the Senko, drug it deep, did not get bit doing that. So I decided to just start firing the Senko up to the bank on fluorocarbon around the beds. Maybe there was a couple of shy fish up there. Or maybe there were fish that we caught in practice that were still hanging around up there, and maybe they were weary about biting braid. Maybe that fluorocarbon would get us a few more bites. And I did catch one okay one doing that I think helped us.
Where you going? Go here. You're cool. You're cool.
5, let me jump.
It's over 3, right?
He hit it as soon as it hit the water.
Huh?
Yeah, he hit it as soon as it hit the water.
So I believe we did that. And then we ended up at the end of the trail. So we said, let's let it sit for a little bit. We ended up going back to our mat line, and you know, we had left it alone for a night. It's literally a 40-yard stretch of mats. It is not big. And I think Kelly caught one. I caught one. I can't remember if it helped.
He was up in there, wasn't he? That fish was up in there. He wasn't on fish.
And then we get to a point where one should be. I flip in there, the weight clears the mat, the line jumps, and I airball this fish. Thankfully, Kelly was like right there, ready to go. He flips in there, and the fish didn't hammer it right away. But after a little bit of coaxing, you know, we both saw the line jump, and he was able to get that fish to bite.
Flip in there, Kelly. Flip in there. Flip in there. He hit it as soon as it went in. Damn it. On top, and I was like, oh, I didn't have something off the top. That's redemption right there. You freaking catch him. There we go. All right. Maybe. That's him. Oh, skinny four. Maybe.
So, you know, it's a good one. I don't remember exactly what it weighed. I believe we weighed that fish in, and that was just, you know, that was a good confidence boost. Almost like, all right, that's like a good play in a football game. You know, we played that smart. That's just when you're dialed and you're quick and focused and paying attention, you can do that. That fish was still hot under that mat. And when he set the hook, you guys can't see it in the video probably, but that fish jumped out and my otter flew out of its mouth. So it was definitely the same fish. So that was cool. So we ended up flipping that, did our thing, and we got ready to move. And Kelly said, let's go down that trail again. And we ended up going back down the trail. And I believe Kelly was flipping, and it was overcast. Now, here's a crazy story. So in practice, during the week of my guide trips, and even the first day of the event, I had a spook in my hand a lot because we were dealing with fish that were around a lot of bait, a lot of shad. And when I say a spook, I was throwing a number of different walking baits that were, you know, newer baits to the industry. I don't even remember what they all were, but just really good looking walking baits, all in like sexy shad, white, just shad colored patterns because I'm catching fish that are relating to shad. And I was throwing my spook, and Kelly's like, man, I can't believe one hasn't hit that. And he asked me, he said, you're not throwing your go-to spook? And I kind of laughed. And what it was there was a spook that I've caught some giants on guide trips. Any of you guys that fish with me know which one I'm talking about. Our first roll-ins of the year, our big 6.5 pounder came on it. 3 of the fish that we weighed in the second qualifier with 28.5 pounds came on it. And it's a color I really like. And I said, no, man, but it's not it's a gold spook. It's a gold spook with like a mustard colored belly. And I said, I'm trying to imitate these shad. And he said, well, it ain't imitating them because they ain't eating it. And I said, you know what, you're right. So I cut the bait, one of the 4 baits I was varying through off, and I reached in, I grabbed the exact same spook that we caught that 28.5 on. And, I have like 4 of them, but one of them is the one I fished in the tournaments, and it's all beat up. And I don't think I put the footage in here, but I'm literally talking to it as I'm tying it. I'm like, I'm sorry I took you off, and he's like, I tried to tell him, we're joking. And second cast with that spook, I get blown up on.
Good one.
I was just about to say, I can't believe one had come up and got it.
Hey.
Yep. And if we catch them that look like that,
then we're gonna be cooking with gasoline.
We're gonna be cooking with gasoline, boy.
So it's crazy. It's a 5 pounder, and it was just one of those things. I was like, man, I don't know if it's the color as much as it's the action, as it's the noise, as is the profile of that spook. Maybe it's confidence. I don't know, but all right, that's it. And it was really overcast and everything, so we rolled with that. So we ended up fishing our way out, and now it's time to make a move. And Kelly had an area where he had caught some fish in some mats, but there was also some stuff to throw a chatterbait around, and with it being overcast, some stuff to throw a spook around. So I said, it's kind of I had 2 5-pounders in there in practice. I believe I had one in there. Actually, in my practice video, the fish that came out of the mat was this same spot. So I said, all right, let's just go try it. So we run over there, and we're going in there trying to discuss which way we want to go into this pocket. And there's some isolated cattails there. I'm twitching the spook. And I just look up, and before I could say anything, this 6-pounder is just beelining under the surface. I could see her clear as day to my spook, and the mouth opens up, but it's almost like she blew the spook, and she hit it, and you can hear the crush, but she never got the bait. She never even felt the hooks, and the bait twirled out of the water. The fish followed it in the air, and when it hit the water, she saw the boat and took off, and I never saw her again.
I didn't see anything. You want to go? Which you want to go this way?
I usually go that way. We'll come back out here.
No, I don't have them. I don't have them. I don't have them. I don't have them. He never got the hook.
So that was like, you know, okay, there's some big fish here in the area. You know, this is what's going on. So Kelly's flipping these mats. We're going down, and there's literally these 3 little stalks of cattails out there. And I tell Kelly, you know, this is what these fish, I believe, are spawning on. The water had got real clean. And what was happening was the clouds were starting to burn off at this time. It had been overcast and dreary all morning. And of course, once I find the right spook they want, the clouds are going away. So I'm trying to fish fast, and a cloud covers the sun. I throw it out there, and you know, I'm walking the bay talking to Kelly, and one just comes up and just absolutely flushes it.
All the mats I fished was from the trail to that corner. That's where I got that big one.
It might have moved around.
No, they won't. We just got to it's one of them.
See, if you ran that trail on an airboat right there, it'd take you to our cut.
Which side?
It's right here. Fucking talking about, dude.
Fuck, I can't out.
What I'm talking about, my brother.
Probably made a good decision. I told you what we do today.
You think
From
she's
now till
spawning?
4. From now till 4.
This is gonna be
It's
it.
gonna make the difference.
Dude, that's a donk. That is a lake fish. They are coming in, boy.
6 8 this.
So we catch that fish. It's like almost a 7-pounder or something. And, you know, that puts us at like 23.5 pounds at that point. And we knew we were sitting pretty. We were stoked. And we really thought we were going to have more chances at them. But when it came down to it, guys, I think that was the last real bite we got for the day. We caught that one. I think I had a couple boil the spook. I think we caught a couple on a chatterbait, but nothing that cold. We ended up running around to a few different areas, finished the area out in kind of a community hole, but we were a late boat number, so we were kind of the only people in there. I think we caught 1 or 2 in there. That didn't help. And yeah, so we just headed to weigh-in. I smell it. Close it tight.
Is there a small one?
I don't know.
That look like 20?
Oh, it's over 20. I had 15 before you put that one in there.
Yeah.
But it's going to be close for the other. It's going down right now, ladies. Splice Charters on YouTube. They won the McMillan Jimmy Mack Open this year with like 28 pounds.
5 and 5.
Nice. Let's do this. They need like 25.8. Dude.
Stay within the frame.
Dude. This is going to be within pounds, ladies and gentlemen. Need 20. It's over 20. How close is it? Oh! Oh! 2309! Your champions, Jared Bolts, John Bowman, 47-44. They were 2 pounds off the lead. It could not be closer. It could, Raymond, will you get their bag? Get their bag for me? Oh my gosh! You guys go hang out here to the side for a second. I gotta talk to you, bro.
Thank you.
All right, Cody Davis, Kelly Autry. Man, I love both of you guys. All right, man. Kelly, woo! Good job. I'm so proud of you, man. I'm proud of our winners. I'm proud of you guys. Did you have the 2.5 pounds on, bro? Did you have it on?
Hard to say. Between today and yesterday, maybe, but it would have been damn close.
Are you freaking happy with what? Is this awesome, bro? Come on, Kelly. Calm down, Kelly. Calm down. We know how animated you are. So, bro, what was your game plan this week?
Well, we had a small game plan, go to get our free fishing, and we stuck to it. We had a good rest, but we had a plan to catch 15 pounds every morning real quick.
So you guys know who came once.
Kelly won't tell me anything. I spent the night with him. I didn't even know what kind of underwear he wore. So give me a bait of choice, bro. What were your baits this weekend? Baits and colors.
We caught him on a Gambler Ugly Otter, we caught him on a Spook, and we caught him on a black and blue chatterbait. A little bit of mix-up.
What color ugly otter?
Back at you.
Tight Splice Charters on YouTube, right? Did I say it right?
Yep, and this video will be on there. You get to see me and Kelly hugging and kissing that big fish. Yeah.
And breaking down the lake. If you want to learn how this lake gets broken down, I'm serious. This guy spends a lot of time on the water, and he's going to give it to you straight. Any sponsors you want to say what's up to?
I just want to say hello to my wife who's driving home from Atlanta from a wedding, so she couldn't fish.
Does she have deer meat for us?
She does not. Her dad does. So I'm going to probably go home and eat some of that. So
Kelly, you want to say hi to anyone? Give a shout out?
Yeah, my wife.
We know you need some money, bro. And right now you guys are taking home $10,000. Second place team, Kelly Autry, Cody Davis, great gentlemen. As good as gentlemen as they are anglers. Shake the hands of these guys.
You know, that was it. You know, that was our tournament. It was man, it was a roller coaster ride from start to finish. Especially, you know, we were running in thinking we're going to get a top 5, and then you know, we saw what the weights were. We were like, oh wow, like we knew we weren't going to win it. I mean, full disclosure, we knew we didn't have the tournament won with the weight, because those guys who won it ended up weighing in early. But we were just as excited to take home a second place finish because, yeah, you know, it just all happened so fast. And these guys are just so good. I know everyone says that I'm on the lake every day, and that's fine. I mean, but there's guys that just have it. And some of these guys that we fish against, man, they're just, the competition is so stiff out there. So, you know, we could say we had the bites to pull off the win. We could say that. But at the end of the day, the people that got third probably, I know Kale and Brad probably lost a few. The guys who won it, I'm sure, lost a few throughout the 2 days. So everyone's going to lose them. It's the ones you don't lose that obviously win you the tournament. So really what we did was, again, going back to having a good tournament partner, guys. Like, this was not just a one-man show. This was not a one-plan attack. This was something that we had a starting spot, and then depending, it was almost like chess both days. We knew we were going to start in the starting spot. Once we had 15 pounds, then diagnose what's going on around us, and then figure out our next move, because we didn't want to have it was difficult because of the way the lake was fishing, and having a good partner that you could bounce ideas off with, and you got to trust that they know what they're talking about. Again, that big one at the end that sealed the deal for us, I'll be honest, I really didn't even want to go to that spot. But Kelly said, I had 2 5-pounders in there, and I can flip the mats. Even if you don't have confidence in those mats to get a big bite, there's stuff for you to throw your spook at and a chatterbait at where they should be spawning. And you got, you know, that's what, and, you know, I said to myself, like, you know what? Who am I to tell him no? Maybe I don't have the full confidence in there, but I don't need to. He can catch the 7 and 8 pounder. That's going to win us the tournament. Kelly has confidence in it. He's going to fish it good. It's worth going to. And he wants to win just as much as me. So he's not going to make a dumb choice right now. And we went in there, and obviously it paid off. So that's what's good. Like I said, me and Kelly, we fish a lot the same, but there's little things that we do different from each other, but they end up helping us out in the long run as a team. So, you know, it was mentally tough. It was bass fishing's a hell of a sport, man. It's a roller coaster ride from start to finish, but it was awesome. I mean, I love 2 day events. Probably the first 2 day event I've ever done very well in. I know the first year I ever fished the Rollins Classic, me and my buddy Matt Guido, we got fourth, which was awesome. And I really love the 2 day format because you can kind of, I don't want to say you get lucky, but everyone, you can do it one day, but to be consistent for 2 days is it's an awesome feeling. Not the tournament's great, but you as an angler to go out there and know you kind of backed it up 2 days in a row just is a real big confidence boost and feels real good. So we fished what we were comfortable with. We kind of just rode by the seat of our pants and just did fish the moment, fish the conditions, made small adjustments, but at the end of the day, knew how our area was setting up and what these fish were trying to do and kind of moved with them, let them rest, and just played it safe. So that's how we won it. So, or won it. That's not how we won it. That's how we were the first place loser, I should say. So super happy. Thank you guys so much for the support. I'm trying to grow this channel. I really enjoy just meeting everybody in the industry and all the people I've got to meet and people that are fans of the channel and fans of just coming fishing with me. I'm trying to grow this thing, and there's going to be some more videos like this coming up sooner than later. So I'm going to go edit this now. You guys are watching this. I'm going to enjoy my Bud Light that I didn't drink any of. And I'm going to watch some Seek 1 episodes of them killing some big deer. So I'll see you guys on the next one. If you guys have any questions about booking or anything, give me a call, shoot me a text. And I appreciate everything you guys do. So take it easy.